Good evening, welcome to Estuary TV News. I'm Emma Lingard. On the show, we meet the Louth Chippy, rated in the top 50 best fish and chip shops in the country. And James Dunn catches up with Philip Jackson, the new leader of the Conservative group on North East Lincolnshire Council. And we get a preview of the Flixborough disaster documentary. But first, it's over to James for the news.
Hello, in the headlines today, a huge offshore wind farm draws another step closer to completion, and a Lincolnshire lad tops the podium at the Isle of Man TT. But first, an environmental organisation in Holderness can run a more diverse range of initiatives thanks to £400,000 in funding from the government's Marine Management Organisation. The Holderness Coast Fisheries Local Action Group, or FLAG, was set up in 2011 with 47 projects thanks to £1.4 million in European funding. But earlier this year, they applied for funding for 20 more projects and are now celebrating after finding out they have won another grant. Their aim is to promote tourism and communities and secure a sustainable fishing industry. In 2012, the 60 boats based there landed 3,000 tonnes of fish worth £6.4 million, and 150 fishermen are employed locally. 70 years after D-Day, the Normandy Veterans Association are calling it a day. The group, which formed in 1981, will be laying up its standard at St Peter's Church, Cleethorpes. Made up of veterans who took part in the Normandy landings, the group has dwindled to 300 members worldwide. Current chairman, Walter Marshall, who helped set up the association, said it will be a sad occasion.
They always said at the National Council in London that we would go through until the 70th. Because bearing in mind we're all in the 90s sort of thing, early 90s must be. And so if we go through until the 70th anniversary and then stop, because then it means people of my age group are still in, can take part in all of what's going on. You know, we haven't to pass by the wayside and miss it. That's what it's for, because there's still a few of us left.
Police are investigating the burglary of a Grimsby massage parlour in the early hours of Sunday morning. A 37-inch TV and a mobile phone were taken from Cleopatra's on Cleethorpe Road in the early hours of Sunday morning. The phone taken is believed to be one used to take bookings for the business, which advertises massage and personal services. Police are investigating the incident. The westernmost Rough offshore wind farm is one step closer to being up and running with the installation of a huge electrical substation. The substation has been lifted into position and work is now being done to connect the pre-laid cables. Work to install the 35 turbines will begin in late summer and is due to be fully complete in 2015. A man was taken to hospital with a neck wound after a fight in a garden in Grimsby's Cromwell Road on Sunday. The 46-year-old went to hospital after sustaining a cut to his neck, and a 47-year-old man was arrested for assault and actual bodily harm. A 38-year-old woman has also been arrested for conspiring to cause grievous bodily harm. Police have highlighted an example of restorative justice in Hull, in which a truly remorseful offender was spared being put through the courts after offering to repair the damage he caused. The 29-year-old man from Hessel punched and cracked the window of Hessel's Bella Pizza takeaway and was clearly identified on CCTV. He was brought in for questioning, where he fully admitted the offence and offered to apologise and pay the takeaway owner £400 to repair the broken window. Police say he was not charged because it was an example of restorative justice, which involves the victim choosing what the offender must do and is only available to people showing true remorse. East Lindsey District Council have voted to refer the decision to sell Louth Cattle Market to a full council meeting on July 23rd. A shortlist of 6 buyers are being considered for the site, all of which want to turn it into a supermarket, but the council will not disclose which ones. Could your business be greener? Well, if you'd like to know the answer, there's a special workshop at Hull's Fairlands Gallery tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. The workshop is called Green Profits, How Resource Efficiency and Business Resilience Can Help Your SME Flourish, and is free to attend. Councillor Martin Glancy, the council's portfolio holder for Energy City, said it will help businesses save money, reduce carbon emissions and prepare for the future. To register, email iie@energypartnership.org.uk. A Lincolnshire rider has won the Supersport Race 1 in the Isle of Man TT. Gary Johnson from Brigg took the first in a thrilling race in which rival Bruce Anstey chased him down, reducing his 4-second lead to just 0.1 seconds at one stage. But Johnson held his nerve, eventually winning by 1.5 seconds. That's all from me. Bye for now.
Being along the coast, I'm sure we're all partial to fish and chips. Well, an industry magazine recently produced their top 50 and the result was a little surprising to say the least, as Richard Morris found out.
In the sleepy Lincolnshire town of Louth lies an award winner. Operating since the early 1900s is Mr Chips. It's been named as an industry magazine's top 50 fish and chip shops in the country.
I realised that we'd entered the competition months beforehand. Never saw anybody come in or anything like that, and I was taken aback. So I came down straight away to congratulate the staff that were on at that particular day. We had a refurb last September. The feedback is absolutely overwhelming that we've received from the customers, and hopefully it will roll on and get busier and busier.
In nearby Cleethorpes, fish and chips are synonymous with the town. So is there anything fishy with the magazine? Are the staff surprised to not make the list at all?
It does surprise me, to be honest, but it doesn't unduly worry me. As you can see, our restaurant is full. We're full every day, most days of the week. We still average 3,000 covers a week. So, whether we're in this best 50 fish and chip restaurants, I'd say it doesn't unduly worry me. Our reputation is built on our good name. We buy the best quality fish from our associate company, which my nephew runs, so it all keeps under the same umbrella. We're only frying pure vegetable fat. Every day, 7 days a week, our pans start frying with completely brand new fat. And this obviously reflects on the quality of the fish that comes out of the pan.
This is Richard Morris reporting for Estuary TV News.
Following the local election results, for many it came as no surprise to see UKIP gaining seats. In North East Lincolnshire, the council was hung. The new leader of the Conservative group within the authority spoke to James Dunn earlier.
Hello Philip, thanks very much for coming in today.
Hello, thank you for inviting me.
So you are the new leader of the Conservative group in North East Lincolnshire?
Yes, I am, yes.
Can you please tell us what exactly that means for your average person? How would you explain that?
Well, it means I'm one of the main spokesmen for the Conservative group in the council chamber, and really heading up the Conservatives as a group of individuals on the council, making sure that we're all singing from the same hymn sheet, really. That's my main role.
Now, you are, of course, a councillor as well. And
I am,
you're
yes.
a Conservative councillor, obviously, for the Waltham ward.
Yes.
How long have you been serving there?
I've been on North East Lincolnshire Council representing Waltham since 2003, but I did also spend 12 years on the Old Grimsby Council between 1984 and 1996, so I'm a glutton for punishment.
So now that you're leader, now the biggest story probably politically, locally in this area was the local elections.
Yes, yes.
Now UKIP got a large proportion of the vote there and took some seats from the more mainstream parties.
Yes.
Now that you're leader of the Conservative Party, do you think you can stave off that threat? Because many people think that UKIP do take votes away from the Conservative Party.
Well, undoubtedly they do take votes from the Conservative Party, but I think what we saw last Thursday was increasing their eating into the Labour vote, and that was reflected in the fact that Labour lost far more seats than we did last Thursday in the local elections. But I think we can take on UKIP. I mean, I don't underestimate them, and I understand why people vote for them. But of course, when it comes to North East Lincolnshire Council, we're voting for a local authority. We're not voting as to whether or not we should be in the European Union. North East Lincolnshire Council can't do anything about immigration. But what we can do is provide local services more effectively, more efficiently, at lower cost, and the sort of services that people want. Now, the Conservative members, the Conservative councillors on North East Lincolnshire Council have the skills and experience to be able to do that. They have a history of standing up and speaking in the council chamber and in committees on behalf of the electorate, on behalf of the people who vote for them. UKIP don't have that, and certainly we've had a couple of UKIP councillors on North East Lincolnshire Council now for 2 years, and frankly they've made little or no impact in the council chamber or in committee meetings. So the Conservatives, who are the primary opposition on North East Lincolnshire Council, and we make sure that we stand up for local people.
But UKIP councillors have been called all kinds of names under the sun. You know, they'd be called xenophobes and racists. But I suppose, particularly UKIP councillors at a local level, would say that immigration is not their only issue. They can make an impact here. Would you disagree with that from what you've seen so far?
Well, I think we've yet to see that locally, and you know, from what I hear from colleagues up and down the country, you know, UKIP members don't seem to be making the impact on local authorities that Conservatives are. Now,
you are obviously the new leader of the Conservative local group. The former leader was Keith Brooks, who was caught up in quite a controversial court case last year, although he was, it's important to point out, found not guilty, and he was welcomed back into the Conservative Party. I just really wanted to ask you, the fact that you're taking this leadership now, it's not a surprise, is it? It's not something that's come out of the blue in relation to that? No, it isn't. No, I mean, Keith Brooks made it clear 2 or 3 years ago that he intended to step down in the near future. That was 2012, long before this controversy. Indeed, yes, indeed. And Margaret Cracknell, of course, who was deputy leader of the Conservative group, has been in the leadership role in a caretaker situation. And she'll remain your deputy, won't she? She will remain my deputy. Looking forward to working with her. She's got a lot of experience in the council, which will be very useful. And she didn't want to continue in the leadership position, and I was happy to take on that role. And finally, I'm going to have to be quite quick, I'm afraid, but what's your target? What do you hope to do? Do you have target wards, and how do you hope to win them? Well, yes, we do have target wards. I mean, we need to be winning back wards, particularly in Grimsby, wards like Scartho and Park. And I think we can do that by providing a robust opposition to Labour and by putting forward alternative suggestions as to how North East Lincolnshire can be taken forward. So you're going to be more proactive in the way you oppose? Well, it's not just about opposing, it's about having alternatives. But yes, we will be making sure that we expose inadequacies of Labour where they are present, and making sure we come up with new ideas. Well, I think all voters will always welcome alternatives. Thank you very much for coming in today, Philip. Thank you.
Last Sunday saw the 40th anniversary of the Nipro explosion at Flixborough. Next Monday on Estuary, a documentary will be shown talking to those who experienced that day and the effect it has had on their lives 40 years on.
My father-in-law and my young brother-in-law was at home at the time. I was watching the Schoolboy International.
And there was a loud rumbling noise, like a thunder, that rattled the window. A lot of blackness, a lot of dust, a lot of debris flying around. I must have been blown by the explosion. I didn't hear anything. Maybe a few seconds, but I didn't know how long the time had gone, because I just woke up thinking that I was dead.
And I hear voices outside, people saying, it's got to be Nipro, it's got to be Nipro. And got dressed, went outside, and there's just this huge, big, Hiroshima type thing, really, just a massive mushroom. And
I just felt so lucky, so relieved, that I managed to get away from something that, at that time, I didn't know exactly what happened, how many people got killed, if anybody got killed. I just didn't know the enormity of the situation.
And that's when I realised that, when I was told that Nipro had gone up.
Every time 1st of June comes down, it's the first thing that goes into your head. Yeah. What happened in 1974.
Well, that's it from all of us. Contact us the usual ways through Facebook or Twitter, or via 01472 315 561. Goodbye.